Hey guys, today I'll be doing my accepted portfolio video like every art student does for all the art stores I got into, and I'm going to show you what my portfolio looks like. So let's begin. I made a RISD, Rhode Island School of Design rejected portfolio a while back, like a month back, but I did a really basic summary that time, but this time I'll be showing you my real, actual art. And I will divide this video up into two sections. The first part is my portfolio, which is the general portfolio that I submitted to all the schools. And then after that, I'm gonna go over like my stats and like I'm attending Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, New York, and I am majoring in communications design with an emphasis in illustration. For art schools that I got in, and most of the art schools I applied to, only RISD waitlisted me, but the other art schools that I applied to and got in were Pratt, MICA, SAIC in Chicago, Art Center, and Parsons. So for each school, you can submit 12 to 20 pieces, and in there you can submit PDF files, which it is like one theme, but you can have multiple pieces for it, which is what I did for a lot of them. So I have my laptop here, and I'm just gonna go in order of the pieces I submitted because I submitted them in a way that all the colors kind of flowed into each other. So the first piece I did was meant for a sketchbook page. So I did this piece, which is a pink road, and I did it inspired from a picture of a trail I had in the back of my house. And I just changed up all the colors and I did this piece. So for this piece, I didn't really have much to say about it. I just said that I was influenced by a style that I wanted to try out, and it was something new that I've never tried before. So, because I never really experimented in gouache before this year, and so I just wanted to use it more. The second piece, I wrote a lot for this one. Okay, yeah, this is really messy, but it's this piece that I did. It's a baby covered with Oriental Chinese cloth with a golden baby coming from its belly. This piece was done in acrylic and newspaper print and charcoal. This piece is titled Corruption. I did this piece influenced by the one-child policy that China once had. They took it off, it's causing more problems. So this is a response to the Chinese one-child policy, and because of this policy, a lot of girls were born first, but Asian people like having boys, so a lot of them put like the girls into orphanages and stuff because they weren't like favored, you know. So the black and white babies in the background depict the female babies that were discarded by their parents. The golden baby that's popping out, this blue porcelain baby, is the favorite son that's popping out. This whole baby here just symbolizes the basic piece talking about babies. Oh, the colors that I used, the porcelain color, gold, and red, they're frequently utilized in Chinese culture, which is why I chose to use them. The next piece I did, this piece is probably one of my best pieces. I just got lipstick on it. Okay, this piece is done in watercolor and ink, and I did ink first and then I watercolored everything. This piece is called Switched Rows, and I want to create a dystopia of switched human and animal rows to show like what it would look like if animals were eating the humans, you know. And I wrote something really corny. I was like, I wanted the viewers to ask themselves, what is the meaning of human nature? So I drew like a lot of heads here, and like if you look up close, it's all like mini humans. Oh my god. When I draw stuff, I like to make my art look really, really creepy, which is why I thought this was the perfect idea. The next piece I did was, well, yep, I'm holding it upside down. These are hands, and this was a piece I did 2 years ago, 3 years ago, back in sophomore year. Oh no, this was a piece done in portfolio class in sophomore year where we had to draw something MC Escher inspired, because he made the art look 3D and then back to 2D. So this is what I did. And this was the only piece my teacher that hated me really liked. And I wrote for this one, this piece was created to practice the differences between flat and more three-dimensional images. The choice of subjects and hand movements with this piece was used to create a grotesque image. P.S. This voodoo doll was from the K-pop band VIX, their album cover. So this piece is called Haunt Me, and it is acrylic on glass, and I put tape around the edges to not kill myself. So I did this in figure drawing class, and this is the frontal image, and this is the side that I painted it on, and this is the back. And yeah, I just said that this was an experimental piece. I was trying out stuff. I had a piece of glass left over from another project, and I was like, oh, what happens if I paint on it? And the thing is, I was practicing for this other piece that as I mentioned before, and it left red here, so I just painted it over thinking that, oh, like I can just use this as a new piece, you know? And then I turned it around and I was shook by this because it looks so cool. I did white first and I painted on the layers, which is why it looks like this. So yeah, this was really fun to do. Okay, next piece, moving on. And this one is called Run Little Children, and it's made from gouache. For this one, I had a dream about this. I had a dream that like people were naked and running on all fours away from something. So and there's like grass and like fences. So when I woke up, I sketched the image in Snapchat because that was the first app I opened when I woke up. And then I took it to my art class and I was like, hey, do you think I can make art from this? And then my teacher was like looking at the sketch and she's like, what is that? So then I drew it out on paper properly this time. And she was like, oh, ooh, nice, nice. And then she had me draw it out, and I wanted to create, as usual, an image that would haunt the viewers, like give them chills and stuff. So I did this, and I was going to do this in black and white first, but I thought primary colors would make it look more creepy. This piece was from the 10 pieces of my AP Studio Art works, and it's this one. Hello. This one is called The Butcher, and it's made from oil, done in 2017, I think. And I drew this during my winter trip in Beijing, China, of a butcher, and this is a very reddish, orangish, purplish, warm theme. So I wanted to experiment with that, which is why I did this. And also there's a lot of meat stands on the old streets in China called hutons. So I just wanted to showcase that. Oh, okay, the next piece is a PDF file. It's a series, which means there's 2 pieces with 1 connecting theme. You guys have probably seen this before because I like to show these 2 off. Oh, so the title of these series is Who Am I? And it was created as a response towards society and its restraints. So this is the first piece I did. It's called Caged. And the second one in this series is called Reaching. So this piece, Caged, was a self-portrait to show how sometimes I feel restrained by society and the pressure it puts on me. And like sometimes, you know, I just feel like I'm completely suffocated with nowhere to go, which is why there's a cage here. And the mask is me having like 2 faces, you know? And then the spirit is trying to go free like these others, so that means it's going against society and what it wants. And this is called Reaching, and this is not a self-portrait, it is talking about individuals within society. And this piece depicts how like society prevents individuals from being who they truly are. So this arm is trying to reach, you know, for what they truly want. And then, but there's twine around it which prevents them from doing so. And the 2 masks here are, like I said before, like 2 faces, you know? And then like the rib cage is what happens once you get so much pressure from society that you just become literally a skeleton. And this is from watercolor, and this is watercolor, pen, marker, pencil. This piece is called Realms, and it was made in 2017, and it is a paper sculpture. I made this from collage. In the background, you can see this blue part is collage on Bristol paper, and I covered it with blue paint to tone it to blue. And for each one, I drew anatomical brain, the eye, and the heart. I was interested in like medical stuff. I still am, but I was reading this book about medical stuff, so I got inspired. So I decided to paint the heart, the eye, and the brain, because that's what people think of when they think of the body, you know? I sewed it onto the paper with red thread. I also really like nature, so I want to combine that together. And when you think of the brain, you think of branches, because it looks like mini branches in the cerebrum part. And when you think of the heart, you think of flowers, because that's where like love and feelings come from. So, woo, flowers blooming. And then when you think of the eye, you think of like leaves, really complicated leaves, because the eyes show like what you feel and everything. So I carved out leaves out of paper, branches, paper, and flowers. And then from this, when you turn it, it looks super cool. And if I hit light on it, it looks even cooler, because the shadows of these paper cutouts go onto the wall or whatever you're trying to do, and it shows the pattern, which is super cool. This is a PDF file too, and it's for my figure drawings that I submitted. This doesn't include Art Center figure drawings. Art Center I had to submit 21 figure drawings for, because I was doing illustration or something. This is figure 1, 2, and 3, and I lost figure 3 somewhere in the house probably. I went to look for it, but I couldn't find it, so I just put the digital image up. So figure 1 is this piece. I drew her foot on another page, which I put back together on Photoshop. And this one is done in charcoal. And this is figure 2. This is done in watercolor. Figure 3 is here. Yep. And this one was done in gouache. All 3 of these were done in a live figure drawing class, which I sat in for 3 hours a week, I think. Yeah, 3 hours a week. And we just drew these, and I think these were 3-hour poses probably. Based on that, from those classes, I got a lot of practice on figure drawing, and I think it really helps. The name of this piece is called Golden Nightmares. And I made this from polymer clay, acrylic, oh my god, acrylic, a pill is here, fake eyelashes, and doll hair. This was inspired by a girl in my nightmares, and I just decided to make her. And I will count this as an experimental piece too, because this was one of my first polymer clay sculptures. It looks so creepy. Okay, I'm like, I don't have this in my room because I get scared of it too. The next few pages I did was for my sketchbook. I only have one sketchbook right now. I have no clue where my other sketchbook went, because you know I lose everything. And so I'm just gonna put the digital images up, and then I'm just gonna show you pages that I pulled in from my bigger sketchbook, because I put in a few small sketchbook images and a few big sketchbook images, and I put this all in one PDF file. I put in these two. Oh, this was the sketch, by the way, for the golden baby. Oh, I put in this one. It was a paper cutout. And this one, which I made a video on. And a few pages from my smaller sketchbook. These were all from my sketchbook, right? So I just said that I was experimenting with a bunch of styles and whatever like thoughts I had in my head. My bigger one was more for complete sketches. My smaller sketchbook consisted more of incomplete pieces, because those were really quick and they took like 10 minutes max at least. But the bigger ones took up to an hour. This is a self-portrait that I did for AP Art. It's done from oil paint, acrylic, because I got too lazy at the end, and if you can't tell, there's nail polish in the background. So the theme for this one was like a mood, I guess. And when I did this, I was in a kind of down, sad mood, you know. And I wanted the viewers to feel hopeless from this piece, and so this piece is titled Hopeless, which I forgot to mention. Bless my soul, I took AP Studio Art junior year because it saved me from a lot of work. These 5 pieces were a PDF file for a series called Within the Hutons, which is the Chinese thing, the Chinese series I did for my AP Studio Art concentration. And for this one, I wanted to show the everyday life within the traditional hutons, which are the streets in China, and right now they're being demolished. So I wanted these few pieces to capture them, like capture what they look like before they're demolished and turn it into like really modern buildings. So that's what I talked about. This one I opened it up with a door because it opens stuff and it closes stuff. Yeah, this one opens. And this is done in watercolor. And the second one is, this one is very light, so I thought of this as morning, you know. And this one is done in watercolor too. Third one is this one. It's the cart runner that I spent so much time on, and it's in watercolor too. And then this is going to like mid-afternoon and stuff. So this one, two girls walking through the streets. They probably thought I was freaking weird and creepy because I followed them and I took a picture. And then the last one is for night, which is this one. This one I completely BS'd for my AP concentration. Honestly, I did in like the fastest way possible, so it looked really bad. But then my art teacher saw it and they're like, oh, you can make something out of this, you know? And they had me change the background to a dark blue so it looked like nighttime. And as I said before, I used these as a way to preserve Chinese culture and tradition. The next piece was a modern sculpture that I already threw away because it took up too much space, but for this one, it's called Modernized, and this was inspired by a scene. Okay, sorry, this description is complete BS. I didn't know what to write for it. I just thought it would be cool if I just cut out a bunch of different textures in paper and hung them up like clothes on hangers and a clothesline. So to make my description sound a lot more better, I said that this piece was inspired by a scene when I was traveling to New York and I saw clothes hanging from a clothesline fluttering in the wind, and I was inspired to create a paper sculpture like that. I also wanted to experiment with the creation of shadows and textures because I took pictures of light hitting these paper sculptures and the textures they created onto the wall, and they made really cool like patterns. The next piece is titled Red Mountains, and I do not have it with me right now, and I'm not sure where I put it either. And this piece was created from embroidery and acrylic on glass. I was inspired by one of the patterns I had in my sketchbook, and I decided to embroider it onto a embroidery hoop. The patterns were inspired by a picture of mountains I saw, so I thought it would be cool if I painted the mountains and then stuck the embroidery hoop onto the mountain. For this piece, I didn't paint on top of the glass, I painted under the glass. It's a technique called reverse painting where you paint what you would normally paint last, but you paint it first because you're painting it from the back. So that's what I did, and it was a very experimental piece. This piece, I had no clue what I was doing. Honestly, I just went with the flow. The next piece is called Mirror Mirror on the Wall, and it's done in oil on canvas. I think this is the biggest painting I have, honestly. So again, I want to delve in the concept of society for this piece. And let me just put it down for now. For this one, I said, I want to create an individual under the pressure of society. The girl looking deep inside the mirror is seeing two images of herself, an empty person versus a smiling master. This piece shows the stress that is placed upon by society and how individuals are forced to succumb and lose themselves in the process. The light in the mirror is like the light at the end of the dark tunnel, so close yet so far. So for the basic still life pieces, I did a black and white piece in charcoal of metal objects around the house. This was for my AP Studio Art Portfolio 2. Yeah, there's not much to say about it. It's just for the really basic still life stuff. The 19th piece, the 19th box, is titled Rain, and it was the animation I made with my friend Ashley Wu. And for this piece, we submitted for the Orange County Film Festival, which we didn't get a reward for, but whatever. And there was an animation depicting about a breakup, which I think is very prominent in today's lives. My friend and I, Ashley and I, were just like, would breakups be better or dating be better? So we thought breakups would be better. So this piece is called Rain, but for my description, I wrote, to make it sound better, I had just gone through a breakup with someone I thought loved me back like I did, and this was a response to the emotions I was feeling at the time. At the time, I was just trying to get this done because we did it last minute. The last 5 pieces, which is digital, it's titled Good as Gold, and I did this back in 2016, and this is kind of like a minimalistic illustration piece. So for this piece, I did the line work in pen on graph paper. I did this in SAT prep class, which is probably not a good idea because I missed out on SAT, but I got art done, so hey! And I scanned this in and I colored it digitally. I said I want to focus on the texture of the pieces when I was doing the line art. So yeah, those were all what I filled into the 20 boxes for Slide Room, which is where you submit all your art. Okay, so for my stats, junior year is the most important year. So in that year, I took AP Studio Art, AP Enviro, AP Art History, Anatomy, English, and Math. I took Calc for a semester, but I was kind of failing. Math just is not my thing, so I dropped out of that and I didn't take Math that year. I took Econ. And then senior year, I took AP Bio and AP Stats. AP Bio fucked me up so bad. Oh my god, it dropped my GPA to like no return. But it was a hard class, so I thought it would be okay. So yeah, for my GPA, I had it unweighted because they mainly check for unweighted because every school, the weight is like kind of different, you know, because some schools, but you take AP classes freshman year, sophomore year, but our school didn't. So my unweighted GPA was 3.78. It used to be way higher before AP Bio decided to come in and drop my grade. Yeah. And then my school is pretty high ranked. It's Northwood High in Irvine, and it's a hardcore school, which is pretty stressful. For SAT, I'm not gonna say my actual score because I don't want people to be like, okay, my score is like that, I want to compare it to this, blah, 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 blah. If you do some division for the scores, mine was a high B. Extracurriculars, I had color guard on me, pep squad, Northwood Television, which is a film class thing I did. Outside art, ice skating for 2 years in high school, and dance, and I put YouTube in because that's been a big part of my life this year. And then I didn't really do any clubs. I did some events and some clubs. I did not the most volunteer I could have done, but I did do volunteer. So that is my basic common stuff that everyone likes to question about. Okay, now for the tips for your portfolio to look better. Number 1, if your colors are looking just slightly drab or the monochrome colors are like looking really dull, just go into Photoshop and like enhance the saturation or contrast a bit. Not too much, not that they would like be like, oh my gosh, Photoshop the whole thing, but like enough to make the colors look better. Yeah. Artist statements, artist descriptions for your pieces, BS the fuck out of them. I didn't do that enough. Like, if you can't think of anything, think of something. Be like, oh, this shows like the heart. This shows my feelings. Haha. Like art stores, they love, oh my gosh, you wrote a whole paragraph for this one piece. Figure drawing classes, as I said before, they help a lot. It doesn't matter if your school doesn't require them, you should take them because you're going to be doing figure drawing classes in college, art college, and they're really helpful. Oh yeah, schools really like it if you do self-portraits. I think I put in 2 self-portraits, yeah. So, better do a self-portrait because it portrays you as an artist. Oh, sketchbooks are very important. All colleges want to see your thought process within your sketchbook. A lot of people like me, like, I don't really like sketch before I draw. I go for the piece. But for my sketchbook, I had to like come up with stuff to put in it. I don't do it on a daily basis. I probably should because it helps you improve in art too. So do that. Experiment, experiment, experiment. Art schools love to see you experimenting and not sticking to your regular routine. Try out new mediums, as I said before. Experiment. If you've never done gouache before, do it. If you've never done sculpture before, do it. Like, still lifes help. Still lifes. Oh my god, you can draw objects against cloth. For academic wise, honestly, our schools, it's good to do good in school to show them, oh, not only can you do art, you can study art. Because in the school, you also have other classes other than art classes, so they want to see that you can handle both types of classes at once, you know? So it's good to keep your GPA above like a 3.0, keep it above that. SAT scores, I really honestly don't think they matter that much. Just do well, do average on them, do good. The better you do in grades, the better you do on your portfolio, the better you do on your SAT scores, the higher your scholarship gets, which means your college tuition goes down, but your scholarship money goes up. For your essays and such, don't pretend to be another person, be yourself. But in the end, if you don't get into the college you want to get, it's not the end of the world. It's their problem for not accepting you. You'll do so much better than another school you get into, and maybe it'll even be better for you if you went to that school. Thank you for watching this video. This is my accepted portfolio video, and I hope you guys that are applying for art colleges, you guys can get into the colleges you want to, and that this video has been helpful. I hope I made it helpful enough. So I'm kind of really bad at giving tips, but I hope this helped. And to those that are just watching who aren't applying to art colleges or stuff, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed looking at what my portfolio looked like. I'm very proud of it. I do feel like I could have done better on some pieces still, but overall I'm pretty proud of it. So thank you. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye!